Welcome back to my channel. My name is Naive. In this episode, I am reviewing Melissa Berrera's new 6-episode limited series about survival and childhood trauma and how they intersect, called Keep Breathing, which is available to stream on Netflix. But is it worth a watch? Here's my review of Keep Breathing. The basic synopsis of the series is: after her spur of the moment impulsive flight to Inuvik, Canada is canceled, a young New York City lawyer named Liv hitchhikes with a dubious pair of alleged nature photographers headed in her direction. When their single engine plane crashes in the middle of nowhere, Liv, who recently found out she was pregnant, must survive the wilderness alone. And no one knows where she is or where she was going for this surprise trip to her hometown in Inuvik. Now, this series does have elements of ABC's hit classic Lost, but I believe it goes a little further. It definitely tugs at emotion. The wilderness survival element is obvious, but other elements make this series very impactful and emotional. Like, it flashes back to her traumatic childhood as a savant with abusive parents, and it flashes back to her career experience in this hotshot New York City law firm. And a lot of it encapsulates her dating a subordinate at this law firm who really loves her and who's showing her the love that she never felt growing up, and how she deals with his love because she doesn't think she deserves it. Like, she says in one of the episodes, she's been wearing armor to protect herself and her heart because of what she survived in her childhood. And as she tries to fight to survive this plane crash, she uses the trauma and life lessons that she's learned over the course of her life to survive it, but always questions, because her loneliness tortures her soul so much that it tortures her soul with so much doubt and loneliness, that she wonders if she even deserves to get out of this situation and back to a life she was unhappy with anyway. But remember, Liv's not just doing this for herself. She's got to fight to survive this because she's pregnant. The element of being pregnant, being watched by a grizzly bear, starving, and finding out the ominous details about the strangers she got on this plane with, really adds to the element of suspense. It really elevates the story. Um, I mean, in one episode, she swims to the bottom of this lake where the plane has descended when it crashed, um, hunting or fishing around for clues left behind by the crash victims, these two strangers that she hitchhiked this flight with, to figure a way out of this mess. Um, and then she has to teach herself how to light a fire, and what she's going to do to eat, and how she's going to protect herself from the wildlife. Um, and the way the flashbacks are used is that she uses the things she's gone through, that she suffered, especially in her childhood. She uses those tools to survive out in the wilderness. And keep in mind, nobody knows where she is. No one is coming to save her Just like no one came to save her in her childhood, she goes unnoticed by a plane that's flying by. She gets trapped in a, a ditch that's about 12 feet underground. She gets injured, and escaping seems impossible. That's the basic story of the series. I think this is a great series. It's very easy to watch. It is emotional, but it's very easy to watch. It was beautifully shot and beautifully scored. I think Berrera delivered a great performance overall. And for there to be limited speaking lines for her, other than like the flashbacks, obviously, because she's alone, her use of stunts and facial expressions worked. There were some issues, though, minor issues that I had. What I didn't like about her arc was that she played an alcoholic. I think that's lazy. No, strike that. I think the alcoholic trope for dramatic effect is overused in storytelling. It's like a pet peeve. It's as bad as like the airport scene in a romantic comedy. I think the alcoholic trope is just so overused. There has to be other issues that people can have other than alcoholism. Um, and she early on, I believe it was the first episode, or maybe it was the second episode. She immerses herself in this body of water and emerges with her face still in makeup. That is another pet peeve of mine. She didn't strip down in these wilderness scenes. There are some where you can see the gook on her face, but for the most part, her face is still made up and beautified in most of those scenes. That lacks realism. There are flashback scenes where there's a chance for her to look beautiful, which she really does. She looks beautiful in those scenes. There is no reason for her to look so beautiful and made up after crashing, after surviving a plane crash. Lastly, this limited series was originally named Breathe, which is synonymous with the Lamaze coaching a pregnant person gets in preparation of delivering or giving birth. I think Breathe was a more fitting title for this film instead of Keep Breathing. That's a very minor issue, but I think Breathe makes more sense. And I do think there was more meat on the bones, that this story could be developed into more seasons. This is a mini series or a limited series, so the sixth episode is it, unless they decide to develop more. But for now, this is it. It is very easy to binge. It's very easy to watch. The episodes are like 30 minutes or so each, and it's 6 episodes. But there's so much more story to tell. The sixth episode, the finale, I won't spoil, but it seemed to me to be abrupt, like there's more to say. But I get why it's a mini series as well. But I just think we could have gone further with the story. And I do love that so many women directed this series. That was great to see those credits. I'm excited to see what else Melissa Berrera has to offer. I didn't like the Scream reboot, but I did like her performances in Vita and in The Heights. I think she did great. So I'm excited to see what else she has in store in the future. But please stream this series. It is really easy to get through. It is easy to consume in one sitting. The episodes, there are 6 episodes, and they're about 30 minutes or so long. At any rate, thank you so much if you stuck around this long. I certainly appreciate you. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And until next time, peace.